Hey guys, I wanted to do a proper introduction because I feel like I've been posting recaps and vlogs and all of that, and you probably have no idea who I am. So I'm just gonna give you a full rundown of who I am and why am I living in Australia and how did that even happen. So I'm Nicole, but no one ever calls me that. I don't even call myself that. I'm Nikki, and it's spelled Nikki, not Nicky. But on top of that, it's also because my stepsister's name is Nicole, which is very confusing, and we've just always identified each other as Nikki and Nicole. I was born in Lima, born and raised, and I did live in the US for a bit growing up in Houston, Texas, and Miami. When I was finishing high school in Lima, all my friends were very focused on studying in the US, and I think that was always what my school kind of engraved because it was an American school. But I felt like I wanted to do something different and experience a completely different culture. So I ended up going to the UK. And when I went to visit a few universities, I immediately fell in love with my university, which was Royal Holloway University. And it was in this little town called Egham, outside of the city. Like a 40-minute train ride. It wasn't that bad, so we would go there almost every weekend. I loved it. I felt like it was an escape to everything. I did have a little bit of an adjustment period the first year where I felt like there was nothing happening in that little town, but then you kind of fall in love with it. You kind of fall in love with just being so close to nature, and it was a beautiful campus. It full on felt like Hogwarts. And fun fact, that series on Netflix, was recorded there season 3, which is hilarious because it showed it as if it was like in the city, but it was not. It was a 40-minute train ride. So I ended up studying in the UK, and I did 3 years in Royal Holloway, and then I decided to study sort of entrepreneurship. The course was titled Creative and Collaborative Enterprise in UCL, and that was because during college I was selling overnight oats to students. I kind of had a big health journey during college where I really wanted to be eating healthy and just showing others how easily you can eat something so good for you in the morning. I just started making batches and batches of overnight oats, and really good flavors actually. It was apple cinnamon, blueberry, coconut, like really great overnight oats. And just started selling it, and it was a success, and I got really excited about the branding, and I just felt like I really wanted to take it a step further, which is why I ended up doing that entrepreneurship course in UCL. But then COVID hit, and it kind of just paused everything, and I didn't lose the momentum, but I started overthinking of if I was really into that or the actual branding and the creative aspect. Because for anyone who owns a startup, you know that it becomes your life, and it's like having a baby, and I wasn't ready for that at 22 with no work experience, and I just kind of wanted to do something different before I put my entire time and dedication to one thing, and also gain some work experience because I had never worked an actual job. So I was going through all of this doubt, and my sister asked me to come visit her in her university in the US, which was UVA, University of Virginia. And I went and was kind of shocked because it was COVID and everyone was wearing masks, but not in her university. Everything was just free-flowing, and I got to my sister's university and I kind of had an epiphany of not being happy with where my life was going, wanting to try something new and kind of find myself again, because I think a lot of people can relate to this, but COVID made me more of an introvert, and I've always been an extrovert. So I really wanted to go back to who I was, and on that flight back to London, I kind of had that crazy moment of deciding I was going to move to New York. So I packed up my bags, and literally a month later, I was in New York. So I moved to New York, not having a job, not knowing where to stay. I went to a hotel for the weekend, and then everything just fell into place. It was like I was meant to be there. I found roommates, I found a marketing job to start, and then I had a ton of friends that were moving to New York post-college. So it just felt right. It was definitely a big risk, but it was the best thing I've done. And then I met my boyfriend, who was actually doing an internship that summer in New York, and we were seeing each other but nothing official because he had to go back to UVA to finish his last year, and we just never stopped talking. I think the moment he left we realized this wasn't just a fling. So I went to visit my sister, which actually meant I was visiting him, and my sister did not like that, but it worked out, and almost 5 years later here we are. And my sister reminds me of that every single day. She's like, don't forget that I'm the reason why you met Diao, which valid, she's responsible for it. After that, we lived 4 great years in New York. We made so many great friends, had a huge Brazilian crew, which was awesome. And my little sister ended up moving to New York as well, where she's currently there. And that's when I started to get the itch again of trying something new. Right when things got comfortable, I was like, something needs to change. We need to do something new. During that time, Diao's visa was also about to expire. It's like a lottery system, and I think you have like 20% chance of getting it. And we were both really nervous, obviously not wanting to be separated and living in different countries. We started thinking of plan Bs, of other countries that we could go to where we'd be happy and just to try something new. I think the craziest thing is that it didn't feel that sad. After 4 years of living in New York, we'd both already felt like we've done it, and my sister had just arrived, and just seeing her live all those new things made me feel old. It just made me feel like I wanted to go somewhere new and have that rush of discovering a city again and not knowing anyone but meeting friends. And I don't know, I've always been excited about trying something new and stepping out of your comfort zone. So we had just come back from our trip to Australia, and I think, yeah, because we went in 2024, and we were so mesmerized by Sydney. I think mainly because it's such a similar city to Rio, for example, in Brazil, but it's so safe. The beaches are beautiful. The restaurant culture is amazing. And for someone who's a big foodie, like all of those things were just checking my boxes. So when we came here, Diao and I were both like, we should try this. And then we started actually taking action on it. We were both starting to look for jobs and seeing what the possibilities were actually looking like. And we were both so lucky because we both got really good jobs before we even came to Australia. So it was already in the horizon, and it became something that was more real once we got job interviews, and it just all started building up. And then the visa lottery came out, and turns out Diao got the visa, which was a plot twist moment because we had been preparing for the worst case scenario, and then he actually ended up getting it. But with both options on the table, we still chose Australia because we had both already created this mindset of trying something new and trying something new together, and just experiencing the life down here and traveling all around Asia and just starting again, but together. And that's how we got here. It's honestly been a year now. Yeah, because we got here in May, so it's almost a year, and everything is so amazing. We got so lucky. We made really great friends, and it all happened so organically that it just feels like it was meant to be. So I'm very excited about this new chapter and just vlogging and sharing all these cool things with you guys. And that's exactly why I will continue to be consistent with my videos and just showing you guys more and more of our life here, because it's amazing. And for anyone who's considering moving to Australia, maybe this could be the motivation you needed. So that's a quick summary of who I am and how the hell we ended up here. But if you guys have any questions, if you want me to share anything specific, I'm an open book. For anyone who knows me, I'll tell you my whole life in 5 minutes.